Because compassion is not weak, Compassion doesn't yield to wrongdoing. Compassion is the greatest force that there is. It's called love when it encounters suffering. I think probably throughout history, mantra has been the most emphasized part of yoga, but I think maybe in the way that it's largely popularized modernly, it's maybe underemphasized, perhaps sometimes. And so, really the whole essence of even a Kundalini yoga practice is mantra, in the sense that it's transformation of the mind, is that we don't want to stay miserable. We don't want to feel lousy. We want to feel good. We want to feel happy. All of us, it's true. All of us, we share that basic thing in common. Even the people we despise the most, also, we share that in common with them, unfortunately. Makes it more difficult to hate them. Okay, so this is just about see if I can help the nervous system be not only relaxed, but strong. And get a nice endocrine system balance. And use the body for this really incredible, beautiful, pleasurable instrument that it is. And so when the chi is moving nicely in the body and is circulating, and not just for the sake of doing a yoga practice, but also it's kind of a training. Training my life force and how I would like it to operate more often. Circulate. Also, move up into my heart where it feels really nice, and don't get too stagnated and stuck. So it's a cooperative thing. It's about life. How does a flower blossom? Prana. Somehow, it's a very simple answer. Life force. Who can describe the intelligence of how a flower blossoms? Elon Musk. Nobody can. Now it's a very polarizing name to say. We all contract and these things. But it's not. The more kind of polarized I am in my body, the more difficult this whole next 5 to 10 years of our life is going to be. We could say that any time, in any point in history, but certainly when it comes, it's not like this has never happened before. Things come in and they, like a high tide comes in, where things can get very tense and things are very polarized, and then it recedes and it goes back for a little bit. But on some scale of measurement, things are seeming to crescendo in a feeling of polarization, and something will have to give. So it's very important, I think, for me at least, I can say, navigate with compassion, understand through compassion. Let's misunderstand the time. And I find that from my personal attempt to practice that, I find that to be very helpful. Very helpful. Because compassion is not weak, Compassion doesn't yield to wrongdoing. Compassion is the greatest force that there is. It's called love when it encounters suffering. She is fierce. And so it's not that you don't warrior for something. In fact, compassion will cause quite the opposite. For life, for what is real, for what is true, for what is good, from your own wisdom perspective. And each of us can take that path. And compassion is simple, wherever there's suffering, also there's compassion. Some of these guys are creating big time suffering in the world due to whatever ignorance, whatever it may be. I don't pretend to understand any of it. I feel always suspect when the person can tell you exactly what's going on, but all right, cool. Somehow they know. Fine. But I like experience, and so I know by my experience, when one is causing suffering, they themselves are suffering. When I'm causing suffering, it is coming out of my own suffering. So, by paying attention to that simple truth, one can have love in all directions, not in just the directions of our likes, but also in the directions of our dislikes. It's not weak. It stands for something. What does it stand for? That's your journey. That's the heroic journey of every human being. What do I stand for? What is my life about? What do I care about? What is important to me? What will be important to me when I'm taking my final breath here? Yeah. Even, I don't know maybe the answer to that question, but even to ask that question genuinely of myself in the privacy of my own heart, when no one else, it's not making my Instagram feed, it's not making any sort of outer display. When I'm being real with myself, by just even paying attention to the very fact that I'm going to die, and to sit with it for a moment, to be present with it for a moment, immediately helps the life force prana concentrate in the nervous system, because it puts us in touch with what is real, even if what is real is a bitter truth. It's a bitter medicine, isn't it? Impermanence practice. It's not like sweet, like Venus, with chocolates and roses and strawberries and beds, like day beds and pools and things like this. Venus, yeah. Impermanence is like whose domain? Shani, of course. And nobody wants to hang out with Shani. Saturn. Shani is Saturn. Because he's grouchy and is always reminding you of the hard things in life, but they're real. Ultimately, Saturn's a wisdom teacher, like one of the great wisdom teacher, Jupiter, Guru, and Saturn, Shani, the two wisdom teachers. But also Venus is considered the Guru as well. And so, actually, that's why Venus and Saturn harmonize so well together. So if someone has more of a strong Saturn nature, then things that are Venusian really will help their life. Won't be natural to them at first because they're more Saturn. They would be hard fucking workers probably, usually. And they would have kind of backbone, but they're grouchy. Something like this. And so the Venus will come and soften that. And the Venus will show them how to soften. And then when you combined that first basic nature that we have with what we develop into, that's when you become a more comprehensively happy person, more of the complete self. And so even like astrological principles can give nice insights into that, because we all have that. We all have a nature that we are born with, our unique wiring of our unique instrument. Some of us are more hardworking and you can't stop them from working. Other people, you can't even get them to work. But they're really good at like chilling, You know what I'm talking about? These you want also as your friends. If you only have like the hardworking people, it's not nearly as fun. And so it's a blend of all of it, isn't it? And we mix with each other and we balance each other, and that's what makes us all unique. We can all kind of, we help each other. You got a certain vibe that I don't quite have, but it can give me perspective on life, perspective of myself, because we're all of it ultimately. We're all born under the zodiac of all the signs and all the houses and all the planets, to speak of it even just poetically. And so we start with a basic nature, but then it's the refinement of that basic nature that allows us to really kind of blossom into ourselves. Yeah? Things like astrological principles can give you good insights into what those archetypes are for you and those qualities may be for you. And those are all just principles that can kind of point. Consider this. Consider that. Consider it like this. What if you put it this way? And then your intuition will start to work with it. And then yoga practice is about the actual transformation of the energy, for instance, from a depression tendency or melancholy or a grouchy tendency into something that's a sweeter tendency, something that's softer and sweeter and keeps the prana more healthy. Because I can get the prana moving in the body, breath work, but if I'm not actively in my life participating and interested in the transformation of the mind, then it'll only do so much for so long. It's still helpful, still feels good, but to practice yoga is something else. And yoga has to do with transformations of the mind, and for that, nothing is better than mantra. Because the mantra can take the beam of the mind and kind of project it in a rhythmic fashion, and project it in a consistent fashion. And then when one learns how to kind of circulate a mantra, japa, repetition of a mantra, without the mind wandering too far away from it for longer periods of time, the more you're strengthening the beam of your mind. And therefore, I may know that I want to be happy. I may know that all these things feel true or real to me, but I will not be able to cause myself to do much about it unless I can get the beam of my mind going in that direction. So when we talk about prosperity, this is kind of what we're actually talking about, but it's more fun to talk about it about like money. Because we all want it and need it. And it does help money, that's the thing. But when you get inside of it, it's not the essence of what prosperity is. A prosperous human is one who's blossoming into the great heroic creature that they are. And to have an experience of that, to go on the great, incredible journey that is our life. We come out of our mother's womb. It's heroic. It's incredible. And she's heroic to make it happen. And then we go on this crazy journey of our life, and we're such tender, sensitive creatures, and sometimes it hurts really bad, and sometimes it feels really fucking good. And all of it in between. And there goes the dancing. So at first what happens, you kind of go towards really fucking good. And then you realize you can't hold on to that, and the more you hold on to that, it actually creates this type of space that then gets filled with chasing it, that then causes anxiety or depression. So, gotta figure something else out. The more that I'm grasping onto the really, really good, the more that it's gonna be very difficult when things get really difficult. And occasionally, things get really difficult. They rise like a tide, and then they come back, they recede. Good times and bad times. So the yogi takes a middle pathway in between those two things, where one doesn't have to push away the difficult, and one can very much enjoy the pleasures of life. And we can enjoy the pleasures of life even more so when we're not grasping onto them and putting unrealistic expectations upon our pleasures in life. Pleasures cannot ultimately fulfill us, but pleasures are beautiful. It doesn't have to be like one or the other, where we realize pleasures won't fulfill us and then we like stuff them because you're going to hell if you try to be pleasurable. Ugh, you know what I mean? Dudes. So instead, it's just refinement, you know? It doesn't have to be drastic and dramatic. It's more like a love affair. Little baby steps. Take little baby steps. That means do small things consistently. You'll create giant leaps. That's the physics of it. But it only can be tested by your own experience, yeah? So that was a talk about mantras.
Thanks for watching on YouTube. Best easy way to stay in touch with us. Hit the subscribe button here. You'll see our videos when they come up. If you enjoyed this one, hit the like button. It'll help more people see it, help the channel grow. I appreciate you watching.